Good morning once again to Hammer Country. It is Ron Siegel here again with you this week, sitting in for the one and only Hammer. So he's out there navigating the world on his motorcycle. So I am sitting in, Ron Siegel here, guest hosting the entire week. I'll be back. Tomorrow's my last day. Then Hammer will be back on Tuesday. If you've been watching the markets, sorry, it's been a bit ugly, but today is obviously going to be a little bit of a benefit. If you are watching us live, please say hello and please tell us where you're watching from. We appreciate that to get an idea. Hammer knows where everyone is. I am just the guest host, so I don't know where everyone is as much as Hammer does. So if you can tell us where you're calling in from, we would be most appreciative. I will go through some of Hammer's touts. Hammer's touts, if you're wanting to know when the show is going to go live, Hammer has a text code that's set up for that. You can just click on the QR code right there. And as Hammer likes to tell everybody each morning, take a picture. I guess I should sit back a little bit. I don't know why my camera makes me look like I'm sitting right on the screen here. It's not right up against me, but it is, it is close. So I'm going to push that back just a little bit. But so Hammer does have the code right there, and if you take a screenshot, you'll be able to tap on that QR code later on. If you want to get the lock advice from Hammer and the team, I guess this week it's the team is doing it because Hammer's not around and disconnected. So you can get the daily lock advice emails from Hammer on that one, or this is a lock advice emails. That's actually an email. This is being done. He's got a guest host for these as well. They go out each morning. They might have already gone out this morning while I've been prepping for the show. And you get the text codes there, the text lock advice. So if something major happens, not like we had anything yesterday, but you'll get a text alert on that one as well. And also don't forget about one of my favorites, Grab and Go Social. So Austin and Hammer have put this together. Just go out and grab, and whoever was the other day came out in here and told me it was grab and gross. Okay, so I get it. So let's say hello. We've got, I wish I could figure out once the names start going by. I can't see all of them. Mike Thibault. Thanks for that. Noticing that yesterday, a bit nervous. If you were watching us, I did share that I was nervous about where the markets were going. So, if you hopefully it saved you some money and you benefited from spending some time with us. Megan Bissell is checking in from Huntsville, Alabama. Angela Walters from Utah. Good morning. Michigan. Mike is in Michigan. Bill Stevens is in Michigan. We've got Mark Clark, Brazelton, Georgia. Okay, so something. Maybe I can. I guess I might have just messed everything up. So I'm going to go back to the old screen where I might be able to find things. Ooh, yikes! Holy cow! We got the screens are all jumping around on me a lot. But so I'm going to get in with our commentary today. I will share with you, as I do all the time. Today is let's see. Tom Stafford's in Colorado. Okay, let's see if I can get. First thing I got to do is see if I can get rid of the code, get rid of that Grab and Go Social. That's over here. And I shared with you that I am a newbie on Restream. I'm seasoned on StreamYard. I do my show at 9 o'clock in the morning on StreamYard. And I have an engineer that helps me. So if you ever wonder about Hammer doing all this stuff, boy, it's amazing when you start looking at all the things that he's doing all at one time. He's talking to us. He's running the board. And monitoring all these different things. So it is a wonder that he gets it all covered. So let me pull up our share of the day. So today is National Craft Distillery Day. And there it is. It's on the screen now. So we've got National Craft Distillery Day. I think I come back over to this screen and pop. Okay, so I'm next to it. That's cool. National Craft Distillery Day. Are you into craft beers? And what's your favorite? So there's the question. Good morning, Will Patterson. Um, craft beers. I'm not much of a beer drinker, but I know a friend of mine who was into craft beers. He used to say the more risque the name, the more it sold. He was a wholesaler of craft beers. The more risque the name, the more they sold. So, what is your favorite craft beer if you are so inclined? I am a Zinfandel, not white Zinfandel. Zinfandel or Merlot drinker, so I'm not much into the craft beers. But if you are, tell us what your favorites are in there. So we're going to get into a recap of yesterday. The markets this morning are not doing a whole heck of a lot. I'm going to get rid of that because I forgot to change a couple of things in there. Again, remember, we are live every business day mornings. That means Monday we're not going to be here. 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, 6:30 a.m. on the Pacific time. Don't forget, if you're watching us on the replay, please give us, just mark in there a hashtag replay so it helps out the algorithms. If you're watching live, be sure to subscribe, thumbs up, tag your LO friends, share this post in a group, all of that good stuff. So I guess now is the time. Let's get started on what we have. As we know, as we all noticed, yesterday was an ugly day. So we're going to stop that sharing for a minute. It was quite ugly yesterday. I think, well, let me, somebody can share that screen. The markets are throwing a temper tantrum. That's all it is. So what is the arch enemy of bonds? It is inflation. And the markets look at the debt deal or the budget deal, the budget program that the House passed early this morning. Now, I have a soundboard on my show. I wish I had it here. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So does it surprise anybody that the House of Representatives got that bill passed in the wee hours of this morning today, of this morning? Obviously, this morning is today. They all want to go home. And we always, the House and the Senate, they get things done just in time. It's amazing how we all have to plan or try to plan in advance. You're doing a 15-day lock, 30-day lock, whatever. Okay, Tom, you got me. I guess I'm not that swift in the libations. Distilleries are whiskey and bourbon. So is vodka part of that, Tom? Again, I'm not that great at that stuff. Mallory Fodiatis, we have a great local brewery. I'm not a huge beer drinker, but I do love their ciders. Something, I'm the same way. I like, if I had anything, there's a place called Brewery X right next to us here. I know the owners, and they make a huckleberry cider. Okay, but I digress. So the Congress only gets things done when they absolutely have to. So they did this budget reconciliation bill, and they got it done wee hours of this morning. Why? Because they want to go home for the holiday. And the speaker said that they're going to get this done before Memorial Day. So he was probably threatening to keep them over the holiday. They don't want to be there over the holiday. We don't want to see them over the holiday. And the bottom line is they find that they got it done just in time. Now, they're talking about getting the Senate vote done. So does anybody want to take a bet that it'll, just a bet on a Diet Coke? We're not doing any illegal gambling here. Anybody want to bet that it's going to get done right before July 4th? So they'll probably do it and I think, I don't even know if I didn't look at the calendar, July 4th, whatever day that falls on, they'll get it done so that they can be home in time to celebrate and leave everybody else talking. But why are the markets so concerned about this? What's driving force? And if we look, I'm going to see if I can share this on the screen as well. I think I put on the share, but there it is. Okay. So you can see yesterday, we just fell off a cliff. And as I shared with you on Monday, we look at some of the different reports and we watch what time certain things happen. Well, you get the leakage of what's happening in the budget reconciliation bill coinciding with the 20-year auction. 20-year auction has two components. It's got a refunding component, and the two components that are in there are divergent. So when you got the refunding and the new auction, the new funding, it can have different meanings when they go to grade it they get conflated, and it looks like there's a challenge in the bill yesterday, or in the auction. Not really, but because also the budget reconciliation is going through, and they were getting leaks coming out at the same time as to what the final numbers were going to be. The scoring that happened, so they did increase the SALT deduction from 10,000 to 40,000, and there's not as much cuts out there as what the bond market wants to see. So we're looking at more deficit spending in the short run. Now, I'm going to tell you that we are never, ever, ever going to get out of our budget, our debt, by going through and cutting. It's not going to happen. We can't cut enough to get out of debt. The only thing that we can do is try as much as possible to get into I still got some old Hammer's old things in the settings, but we've got to try as much as possible to grow the economy. If we can grow the economy, then we're going to be able to get out of some of the deficit and the debt. Now, the Congressional Budget Office is a static scoring model. They say if everything stays the same, and then we filter in the exact changes that we see, well, now we're looking at $1 trillion plus deficits for the next 10 years. But what is the goal of the budget reconciliation bill? It's to grow the economy. But the Congressional Budget Office, they don't have in their modeling a method of dealing with growth. So if this bill does get the same 3% growth that President Trump got the last time he put through a big reconciliation bill, and this one is a bit bigger, well, you get that 3% growth. Okay, now we're going to start seeing where the deficit comes down. Hopefully it comes down all the way, which would be good for bonds. And you can see that yesterday, if we look over here, we're actually seeing, and I don't know if that's showing up on my screen or not, but you can see how we fell off the cliff. This morning we opened up poorly. That's how you can tell with this longer wick down here. And we've already started recovering and we're settling. And right now, the mortgage bond is up 2 basis points. So after yesterday, that's a drop in the bucket, but up 2 basis points. If we look at the 10-year Treasury, that's on this side over here. And we're seeing that 10-year Treasury is up a little bit. We want to make sure and try and hold the line at 4.64. That's where the number is, 4.64. If we can stay below 4.64, we're going to probably be in a little bit of better shape. Again, it's just a matter of everybody trying to look at these bills and saying, is it going to add more to the deficit? More deficit means more bonds means more supply. More supply means the bond prices go down, which rates go up. It's a long way of saying all of that stuff. So hopefully we'll get the growth and that'll change all those issues. But right now, all we're doing is we're looking at let's see if we can go share this screen. According to Mortgage News Daily, 7.08% was where the 30-year is right now. Kind of broken out to, I think it's a 3-month high is what we're seeing. If we also go and start looking at June 18th, what are we going to see June 18th? Well, right now there's a 95% chance the Federal Reserve does nothing. Well, and you know something, the problem with the Federal Reserve doing nothing is that there's still quite a few reports out there that are telling us, well, Mike, you're right, 4.5 is the line, but once you break the line, then you have to look and say, okay, where do we go from there? Because there's always another line to look at. So we broke through that one. Now what's the next one? So 4.64 is the next level of resistance right there. And you keep on having to jump them up and see where are we going to finally stop. And it's kind of like that old thing. Who knows where we're going to stop? But I am going to tell you that we're still seeing some areas that, even though this morning, and if you look at the news this morning, new jobless claims was very tame, but 92% of the U.S. states showed flat or declining job openings in March. So there's hiring freezings, latest data available, hiring freezes and or cuts compared to 78% in November of 2024. That was the reversal we're seeing. Hiring trends, State level hires peaked at 51% year over year growth in November, but slid to 33% in March. Unemployment, April 2025, 82% of the states saw rising unemployment rates. In contrast, non-farm payrolls declines eased to just 6%. Non-farm payrolls comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They put that out in their BS report, comes out, and you start looking at some of these different indicators that are showing, how do you have 82% of the states with rising unemployment, and on a federal level, it's basically flat? How does that work? Well, it's because of the reports that come out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They just don't get it right. That's where the problem is with that stuff. And it's a shame they don't get it right, but as they say, it is what it is. So I am still nervous. I'm going to share with you, I'm still nervous with this market. The reason I'm still nervous is that, what is the catalyst? And that's a big word that I use, catalyst. I hear people say that housing prices are going to drop. What's the catalyst? We still have a shortage of houses. We look at interest rates. What's the catalyst for them going down? Now, the one thing that I can say is a catalyst is that uncertainty. The bond market, stock market, they all hate uncertainty. American businesses can deal with anything. The word that we have for this administration is uncertainty. There's constant uncertainty going on in this administration. So what's happening in tariffs? I don't know, because it changes all the time. What's happening with the budget reconciliation bill? We're getting rid of a little bit of that uncertainty because now we know what the framework is. Why do I say framework when the House already passed it? Well, the Senate is they all have, you think about it, Congress is all made up of the vast majority of Congress's attorneys. When you go to an attorney, you might have the best contract in the world, but they've got to find something to change to justify their existence. Okay, so now the Senate is going to have to find something that they have to change to justify their existence, and then they look at it in the House, and they get to House and the Senate go to a conference committee. Hopefully, there won't be too much there. So we've got rid of some of the uncertainty, but not a lot. So I think I already talked about this one, where the bonds woke up, took a look around, decided fiscal reality is still a hot mess. Yes, slow deficit spending. Growth is the only way out. I will tell you that my lock advice right now is, I'm floating. Why? Because if you didn't lock yesterday, you're too late to the game. So if we go through that 464 on the 10-year Treasury, well, that might be, then we have to start saying, okay, maybe we have to lock them up again. But right now, I'm going to say that I'm in a cautiously floating area, just because we already took that big drop. Again, watch for the alerts. $7 a month. How can you go wrong with getting insight? And unless you have no life like me, you're wanting to sit around and stare at the dashboards and try and figure out what the markets are doing, look for the next item to drop. Again, catalysts are going to be geopolitical. We're going to hear from the budget, the deficit bill. What is the Senate going to do? My bet is the Senate will do absolutely nothing until after the holiday. It wouldn't surprise me if they're all gone already. We have to go to work every day, and obviously the markets close a little early tomorrow, off on Monday, but the Senate doesn't. Those guys, they got it made, so they're not going to be doing that kind of stuff. So again, news for today, we already got the jobless claims. They came out at 227 actual with an estimate of 230. Continuing claims continue to go up. 1,903,000 on the continuing claims versus 1,890,000. The manufacturing index came up a little bit better than what was expected. The global composite PMI, that one came out at 52.1. The global services PMI came out a little bit better than expected. So we've got some numbers that are coming out better than expected. But again, I'm glad you're with me, Mike. Cautiously floating on those short terms. If you've got something closing the end of June or into July, Again, I'd be watching those a little bit closer. We don't have a Fed meeting until the 18th of June. And as I shared with you, then really the markets are not looking at any kind of a cut at that point. In the July 30th, they're still not looking at it. Let me pull this one up on the screen so you guys can see it with me. Share over here, CME. So you can see that and this one is, remember, when you're looking at these charts, Hammer does the math real quick, and I'm not going to do the math real quick. So this is saying 69% are basically saying we're going to stay the same. 29% say we'll see a rate cut. And this is in the CME market. 29% says that we'll see a rate cut. We're going to stay the same we'll be at 4.25, 4 to 4.25. So right now we're at 4.25 to 4.5. 69% say they're going to stay the same in July. 29% say it's going to go down for July. So again, what's the catalyst? That's where the whole thing is right there, is what's the catalyst for change? If we see a budget bill, that might help. If we see some again, we're contrarians when we're in the bond market. So if we see some negative impact on the economy, that's when we're going to start seeing the bond market get better. And I don't think, do we really want the economy to get worse? Well, from a selfish standpoint, it helps us out with rates. But again, as long as we get closer and closer, remember, we've still got a big spread between the 10-year Treasury and the mortgage bond and the 30-year bond, right? So if you take a look at that, the 10-year Treasury right now is trading at 4.6. And I think we said last night, according to Mortgage News Daily, 7.08. So that's a 2.4 spread. Historically, we're at 1.79 is the spread between the 10-year and the 30-year fixed rate. So we're at 2.4. So we've got a big spread in there. If we get stability and the servicers will start paying money to buy mortgages, because they don't pay money for them right now because they're expecting rates to go down as well. Rates go down, they can't amortize that cost of purchasing the servicing. So if they can recoup that cost, they try and get it over 5 years. If they think there's going to be a refi boom in less than that 5-year period, they don't pay for the servicing because they can't get the money back. So if we see stability and we don't have a refi boom on the horizon, if the bond market sees that or the servicers see that, then we can bring that spread between the 30-year mortgage, the 30-year fixed rate, and the 10-year Treasury, bring that back to normalcy. How does it get to normalcy? Either the 30-year fixed rate comes down or the 10-year Treasury goes up. If that happens, then we can see some benefits there, because I don't really see that there are other outside forces that will affect the 10-year Treasury if it starts getting to 5 or closer to 5. So I don't think that that's going to happen. The other thing that can affect the markets that we have to be really on guard for is we're going to have low volume tomorrow. The markets close early, low volume tomorrow. So the volatility will be higher, and geopolitical events that we can't foresee, especially over the weekend. I know some of the investors will raise their rates toward the end of the session tomorrow, just to hedge what could happen over the weekend. So that is the outlook. Again, say hi. Katie is live with us. Jerry Avila, live but late. Glad to have you with us anyway. Kim Mason, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Lisa Norman, good morning. Tom Stafford, thank you. The distillery is on vodka, so my Tito's is okay. So probably about 5. It's Thursday afternoon. It's almost the weekend. Martini time. Tito's martini up. 3 blue cheese stuffed olives for me. Anybody starting to think about the weekend yet? I know I am. Any questions on what we've talked about this morning? Any thoughts on what we've talked about? I know that Mike and I are on the same page. Anybody else got any thoughts in there? Glad to have you all with us, and I know that Hammer will appreciate it. If you will go and, again, smash the like button, the save button, the happy faces, make comments, tell me I'm all washed up, tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, any of those things, regardless of whether you like what I say or not. If you say something, it helps Hammer and it helps the algorithms. But if no one's got any other thoughts, let's get ready for a Memorial Day weekend. And I'm going to share with you, I'll tell this again tomorrow. Remember, it is not Happy Memorial Day. This is the time when we remember those who didn't come back. So if you're out there talking about Memorial Day, you may wish people a peaceful Memorial Day. It's not a happy event. So thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. Have a great day. And if you've got any questions, comments, DM me. You can hit me up. I'm here all week. And tip the bartender on the way out. Thanks a lot.